Wi-Fi Sheep would like to say a huge thank you to all of you that kindly support us. Help us continue to bring new videos like this. Join patreon.com/Wi-Fi Sheep from just $1 a month. Hello and a warm welcome back to youtube.com/Wi-Fi Sheep with me, Tom. Now, cast your mind back some 2 years ago, and I did a video looking at running the then beta version of Windows 11 natively on the Raspberry Pi 400. This was before Windows 11 had been released, but some early public betas were floating around. If you remember, the process of getting this working took a fair bit of time and involved using a Windows 10 PC to compile a fresh Windows image before having to use a custom tool to write a Raspberry Pi compatible SD card file. Now, to be fair, when it booted, it did work surprisingly well, even managing to run some x86 Windows PC applications. But it was an early unsupported beta. There were issues, and at best the process was time consuming and cumbersome. Move on 2 years and a fresh new optimised build of Windows 11 for ARM has appeared online, called Tiny 11 for ARM64 and created by NTDEV. This is a precompiled ISO disk image which is ready to be used on a host of ARM based devices including the Raspberry Pi. This video is sponsored by PCBWay.com, offering services such as 3D printing, injection moulding, CNC machine tooling, sheet metal fabrication, and of course turnkey PCB manufacturing. Take a look at PCBWay.com/projects and all the amazing things people are creating with PCBWay's wide range of production tools and services. So don't miss out. Sign up for your free account today at PCBWay.com. Details and links are in the description. Okay, so in order to do this, I've got a x86 Hewlett-Packard Windows 10 laptop here, which we'll use. I've also got my original Windows SD card, that's the one we used last time around, which I've reflashed to exFAT format. This is a 64GB SD card, micro SD card, and of course I'll need some sort of adapter to adapt, in this case from micro SD to USB. Not forgetting, after that we'll need our Raspberry Pi 400 as the target machine, and of course we'll need all the peripherals and things for that. Right, so let's get on with flashing the media to the SD card. So you need to go to archive.org where you'll find the image for the optimized version of Windows 11 known as Tiny 11 for ARM64, and a link for that will be in the description. And of course you're also going to need the Windows on Raspberry compiler and installer software, and again that's a free download and links for that are also in the description. Once you've got all those parts together and you've got them loaded onto your target x86 PC machine, we can do the install. Okay, so I'm here on a Windows 10 x86 environment here on this laptop, and I've got here the Tiny 11 ARM64.iso file, and I've also got Windows on Raspberry, the installer that you need, and we're going to open that up. Okay, so we'll keep the settings as standard there. Now I've inserted my 64GB SD card. Make sure you reformat the card if it's not a new card, and then we need to select it from the mass storage devices. Make sure you don't wipe your hard drive, which is possible. Make sure you select your removable disk media and then select which Pi you're going to use. Amazingly, this will actually run on a Pi 2, but yeah, I would not recommend Pi 2 and 3. You need to be on at least a 4, or as we're going to use a 400, which is the best machine I think for running Windows. So we're going to click for 400. And now we need to select our image file, which is this file here. And now just mount the ISO, which will take a moment. That is the Windows 11 Pro build. And I'm not connected to the internet, and I'm going to ignore that. And I'll ignore that. Okay. So we'll now click to install. It will do its own reformat. it needs to create its own partition system. And once it's created the partitions, it should install our ISO image. Now, the reason for using this ISO image as opposed to anything else is that the version we have is actually optimized for Pi and ARM devices, whereas previous versions or bloatware versions you might be able to download for installers, for example, may have things in it that are going to make the system run very, very slow, which is going to be problematic for us here on the Raspberry Pi. So you can see now it is installing Windows, so we'll give this a few moments and we'll come back hopefully when it's done. So we're just about done there, and that took a little bit of a while. What I will say is if you are running something like AVG or another antivirus, do make sure you've told the antivirus software to make Windows on Raspberry or WOR.exe an exception. Otherwise, as I found out, it can mess up the installation, and I had to do it twice. And it took a good hour or so to finish. Anyway, click finish, and we might get a format error. We can ignore that, and we should be done. We should be ready, and we can now eject the SD card, and we'll take it over to our Raspberry Pi. Okay, excellent. So that is done. So we've got the flashed micro SD card here. So we'll take the laptop out of the way. So we can now set up on the Raspberry Pi 400. So SD card goes in to SD card slot, as you might expect. And of course we're going to need the video and power out. Now the issue about this version of Windows is that I believe it still doesn't support the native Wi-Fi or audio drivers for the Raspberry Pi. I might be wrong now, and we'll test that. But if it doesn't, I have here an external Wi-Fi dongle, USB Wi-Fi dongle that we'll try. And I also have one of these very cheap plug-in USB sound card type devices with audio in, audio out. And I believe these work okay. Windows seems happy to accept external drivers, it just doesn't like the internals of the Raspberry Pi. Anyway, let's get set up and we'll do the first boot. So let's see how long this takes to actually come up. Okay, that's a good sign. Now, if you remember this from the last video, this took a while to boot. It was always a little bit slow, but let's see how well it does this time. Okay, so a couple of minutes in, but things are now starting. It is a slow start on this, admittedly. Okay, I think something is happening. Right, I think we're doing a restart. Looks like we're doing a restart. So we'll see what happens. So this is the second boot, I guess. Although the machine has just done an auto restart, so we'll see what happens. You definitely need, you know, a cup of coffee on the boil. This has taken a while, so if you're going to do this, you're going to need to take your afternoon off. It's not a quick process, but hopefully, like last time, once we're actually set up and we're just doing standard boot with a installed setup Windows, it should boot a lot quicker. Okay, we're getting somewhere. Is this the glorified and rather slow opening? Anyway, right, we're ready for the setup. So, okay. Interesting how United States is always at the top. What a surprise. Let's go all the way down to United Kingdom. Mouse driver's working, by the way, which is a relief. So at least something works. And I've got a UK layout keyboard. United Kingdom. Nope. By the way, just to show you, you can tell it's United Kingdom keyboard because the quote marks are on the number 2 and the @ symbol is down here. On a US QWERTY, these two are actually reversed the other way around, so that's how you know. Unless you're on a Mac. If you're on a Mac, then the quote marks are still down there. But anyway, I'm getting off topic. Let's get back. Oh no, it's checking for updates. Any Windows user from sort of XP onwards will know the horror of updates. Sign in name. Okay, well, Tom. Password. That's between just me and no one else, I'm afraid. But yeah, I know what my password's going to be. Oh god, we're back for checking for updates again. So, okay, now what are we doing? Are we restarting again? Oh no! Hello, hi. Still don't think there's any sound coming through. No. Didn't expect that to be any sound. Oh, it might take a few more minutes. But it's all right. We've already been here half an hour. So, oh no. Okay. Oh, we'll come back when it's done whatever it's finished doing. Okay, I think we're in. We certainly look in. There we go. So we've got. There's a desktop. Interestingly, it didn't ask me to log into my Microsoft account, which I have a feeling it did last time. I'll have to watch the video myself to find out, but okay. So we've got some icons and Paint, Notepad, calculator settings, Microsoft Store, Edge browser. But there we go, we're all there, we're in. So let's do a restart. And when it comes back around, we'll go into the BIOS or boot settings to change a few things. Escape for setup. Okay, and want to select device manager, Raspberry Pi configuration, CPU configuration. Let's go clock speed max. Okay. Advanced configuration. We want to enable it to use the 4 gig of RAM. It's limiting itself to 3 gig at the moment, so let's go 4 gig. Display configuration. I'm going to force it into a 720. Okay, yeah, that's fine. So we can save that setting as well. So let's do a restart. I'll see if that's any better. Now, the only reason we can do max speed on this is because the 400 has a very good heatsink. The whole unit is basically a heatsink under the keyboard, so it does run very well going fast. So as you can see, the resolution is now to a fixed 720p. Okay, so let's just try logging in. Okay, that seemed happy enough. Let's just see if Paint works okay. It's always a good test to see how slow the lag is. Brush tool. Okay, that's not bad. You can see that's quite responsive. So there's not much lag. Sometimes with these, when you're drawing, it lags behind the cursor because it can't keep up, but that's actually quite good. So that's Paint, that's working fine. Let's try the Edge browser, the only browser you use to go and download Google Chrome or Firefox. Let's see how well this works. That's actually loading not too bad, and that's actually running quite well. That's not bad at all. No sound though. Can we go full screen? How long does full screen take? And we're at our 720p setting. Yeah, it's actually not bad. That's playing quite well, but no sound because we don't get sound natively through the HDMI, unfortunately, which is another issue of Windows. So yeah, the web browser is perfectly usable. Videos are perfectly usable as well. We head over to our Instagram. And there's Wi-Fi Sheep on Instagram, and that's working really well. Of course, you need to log in to see anything, but yeah, that's all right. So if you haven't done already, do join us on Instagram.com/Wi-Fi Sheep or @Wi-Fi Sheep on Instagram. So that's running great. And of course, we've got our second channel, Wi-Fi Sheep 2, which if you haven't subscribed to me over there yet, you're missing out, and you need to. It's @Wi-Fi Sheep 2 on YouTube, and we've got a few bits and bobs which appear on here ever so often. So it is well worth subscribing if you haven't done so already. Last time, you can run native x86 applications, and we might try something actually. Let's go back to Edge, and let's do a quick search for RPC EMU. And we need to go to the Easy Start bundles, and you can have a RiskOS Direct or you can have a RiskOS 3.7. Okay, so that's us done. That's taken a little while, admittedly, but we're there. So we've now got RPC EMU, and we've got Recompiler Interpreter, and I think Recompiler is the faster one, which only works on x86. Now, bearing in mind, we're running as an ARM application or an ARM system, and this is x86 compiled, but it should still work because the ARM build of Windows 11, even here on the Raspberry Pi 400, can emulate x86 architecture and environment. So it's a bit like a sandbox that we can run basically traditional proper PC Windows applications in. So let's see what happens and how fast this works. Okay. So there's the Windows protection. We'll say run anyway. By the way, if you wonder what the slurpy sounds are, I've got a mug of tea here, just because this has been a long afternoon to get this working. It's normally less than a couple of seconds. We've been sitting here a little while now. Got desktop space, middle mouse button, that works. Okay, that's quite responsive. Games are always under diversions. What have we got? Let's try Elite, see what happens. This is one of the reasons for running the 3.7 OS as opposed to RiskOS Direct or version 5, is that you can run 26-bit Acorn Archimedes games. He's taking its sweet time. Okay, that's all right. That's, yeah. Launch. That's running all right. It's all right once it gets going. Actually, that's not bad. That's very playable. So if you want to play the Archimedes build of Elite without crashing into the space station, that would be the best way to do it. Okay, so that's working really well actually. We'll just leave the emulation open for a minute, and let's just cut back to the actual machine itself. So let's see what happens with these external peripherals. So we've not got sound and we've not got the Wi-Fi working natively on the Pi, which is unfortunate but not unexpected. So let's put in a wireless dongle, and let's put in an external sound. Okay, so let's see what I can see. Some drivers are loading, so let's have a look. Has found Bluetooth. So if I select the USB device, that's that one there. Now you won't hear this, so I need to grab some headphones. Pop that. See, it's flashing, so let's just put some heads in, or some cans in I should say. Right, let's just see if I can hear anything myself. I can. Don't know if you can hear that. Yeah, that does work. Okay. So let's just F12 out of that. By the way, if you are running any kind of Acorn emulation or anything that needs F12, F12 is function key here, and then it's actually F2, because F12 doubles up F2. That was brought to my attention before, but it is clearly workaroundable on the Pi 400 keyboard. Windows 11 running natively on the Raspberry Pi 400. I still think it's really impressive. It's still usable. It's just a shame about the lack of Wi-Fi. But it's much improved over the early beta images we originally tried. Before I go, if you've enjoyed this video and want to help support the channel, there are now a number of ways you can, such as becoming a Patreon or YouTube channel member. For YouTube channel members, the tiers and details are on screen now. Or alternatively via Patreon at patreon.com/Wi-Fi Sheep. Also brand new is Amazon affiliates. If you buy anything from Amazon, you could now also help us here at Wi-Fi Sheep by clicking our affiliate link in the description to this video to take you to Amazon. From there, you can browse a selection list of core items I've personally chosen or search for anything else on the normal site. It doesn't have to be computer or tech related. It won't cost you any more, but every time you purchase via our link, Amazon gives us a small tip, which helps fund and support the channel. So do go and take a look, bookmark the link, and help support independent content creation here on Wi-Fi Sheep. And if not done so already, please do consider liking and subscribing. And as always, thank you so much for your company, and I hope to see you real soon right here on the channel. Until next time, bye for now.